Great little site, and there's lots of Easter eggs all over in Kerbal Space Program. There's some on Kerbin itself, there's some on the moon, there's some scattered throughout the solar system, and it is very fun to try to find them sort of accidentally. Or if you do what I did here, is I just double check the coordinates. I've run into this thing accidentally once. Totally accidentally, I landed here once. It's on the equator, so it's easier to do. I think there's also like an arch, and I think it's also equatorial, so I think I may have landed near it accidentally once as well. This, I think, is the first time I've ever gone looking for an Easter egg on the moon and intentionally tried to land near it. So there we are. Excellent. I don't think this counts as a separate biome or anything. No, just still counts as part of the crater. And we've already got that EVA report. We could gather a ground sample here. Again, it's not actually going to count as extra science, but tell you what, we'll take a token little thing, little pebble that had come to rest on top of the monument. Let's go back to our ship and go home. And yeah, I did the EVA report there, but it still counted as Northwest Crater, so it did say it was going to have a lot of science, but that's because we haven't actually returned the initial report, so it's giving us inaccurate numbers there. Oh, I should have, I could have planted a flag there to mark the fact that I found it. That might have been the thing. I don't have another flag. I could have hiked over there and planted the flag on the memorial. Ooh, I think that would have been bad taste. That would have been poor taste, I think, to put another flag there. No, we're not going to do that. I gotta make sure that I don't run out of EVA propellant before I come to a gentle landing. But we're looking good. I'm not adding any sort of sideways force anymore, because I don't want to go too fast, because it'll just make it harder to hit the brakes. Fuel level's low. Yeah, they're quite low. There's not supposed to be a sound effect for this, I don't think. I don't think that's built in. Oh, we completed another mission. Oh, which means I can grab another mission, so I should do that. Coming in over here. We're at 30 meters a second. We're going quite fast. So now I'm starting to burn backwards. Bleed off some of our forward velocity here. We got 0.3 liters of monopropellant left. 0.25. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just try to kill all forward motion. Because it can actually happen. You can land, and especially these low gravity situations, and end up sort of like bouncing and rolling forever. Oh, almost out. Almost out, and I'm out! Alright! Well, that worked out okay. How do you run again? I thought it was shift. Although, I have the jetpack on, so I probably can't shift run. Caps lock? No. There's a run key, but I don't remember what it is. What I can do, quick save, I can turn on physics warp over here. Oh, jumping. Yeah, jumping would be probably a little faster. Yeah, see, shift. I think I have to reset a hotkey. A couple of the hotkeys changed between the previous version and this version of Kerbal Space Program, and I've rebound a couple of them. I mean, they're all still bound to stuff, they just moved a couple of them, and so I did change a couple to be what I'm more comfortable with. I didn't check the run key, though. It didn't occur to me. So normally you don't need a ladder, because you can just EVA back into the ship. How high can I jump is the question. I did not think to leave EVA propellant so that I could get back into the capsule. How high can we jump? I guess we're about to find out. Yes, that's right. You could use the infinite EVA cheat. When I may do that in the interest of sending another mission here to rescue him would be very boring. It would be easy. I mean, we don't have any life support mods. We could leave him here forever until it's time to get a rescue. But it would be very boring, I think, to wait. So let's find out how high we can jump. And then we'll see from there. Okay, we're going to turn off the physics warp. Ah, that's pretty high! Uh-huh. Green Kerbals can jump. Whoop! Whoop! Oh no! It did the physics thing where it, like, bounced me off a surface. We should land enough to not actually take any fouling damage. We're fine. Everything's going to be fine. Let's try that again. We can. Everything's gonna be fine as long as I don't rocket off the side of things. So I do have to start with a bit of a run forward is part of the difficulty because you can't control yourself in the air. There we go! Success! We will board. Yeah, it's gonna dump the extra bits that we went and collected, which is to be expected. If we EVA again, we do have a full suit of propellant, which is great because I have to. There we go. I have to collect the data from here. So turn this on, float up a wee bit. All right, collect the data. It's going to let us know that we're not going to be able to use it again since we don't have a scientist, which is fine. Same thing over here. Collect the data, remove it. Excellent. And then we'll collect the data from the barometer and the thermometer. Take data. Excellent. And grab. No! Jorny just gives up on life. He's like, no, I'm done. God, I can't even grab onto a ladder. What's wrong with me? Poor Jorny. Grab. Excellent. Board. There we go. We added everything in there. Excellent. Quick save. I think we're good. Before we leave, so we planted a flag on the moon, which gives us a reward of 145,000 for completing the contract, and we completed a bunch of milestones. Excellent. So yes, save one more time, go to the Space Center, check to see if there's a new contract. You never know, there might be something else for the moon. There's not. So we're going to take the Explore Duna mission. That is a hell of a mission. Orbit Duna. The mission to orbit Duna does mean that we can't just necessarily aerobrake to complete this, which is a little scary. Orbit Duna, transmit or recover scientific data from space around Duna, land on Duna, transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of Duna. We're going to accept that mission. But it does mean we can come back from the moon. Oh yeah, there's more debris over here. Let's go and trash that debris. And the lander, we will fly. The moon. Are Kerbals like semi-civilized orcs? Honestly... I mean, they are green. Okay, so we gotta leave. We do have some mountains over here, which I think that's east-wise. So we're gonna take off, and we're gonna face east, and then just try to enter orbit. So I'm gonna hit SAS stability mode, and we're just gonna go for full throttle. And then we kill that a second, and... because getting into orbit is mostly about going sideways, not about going up. I can go and retract the legs. As long as we go up enough to clear the mountains... this is all we need to worry about. There we are. We're pushing the apoapsis up, and that's going to be high enough. We're going to hit 16k apoapsis. Whee! It's quite fun to be going fast, like low in orbit like this. And actually, if we pass over another biome here, I can probably get an EVA report and then reboard. Oh, no, it still counts as the crater? Really? I guess I could have checked that first if I was checking the crew report here. Oh, this is in space around the moon. I don't remember. Is this... Nope. Oh, we didn't have that. We didn't have the near space. So I think the only biome-specific stuff you can get in space in vanilla Kerbal is EVA reports. I'm used to playing with the DJ, Magic, Science, Extended, whatever it's called, which does add a lot more biome-specific stuff in space, which would actually be a very big pain in the butt to do without the Science Alert mod. Since there's no atmosphere, it's quite safe to get out. This ship looks cool, man. This looks awesome right now. Do you think I killed the flag? The flag's still there. It's in blue. I mean, it might have gotten toppled over or something, but it doesn't seem to have been destroyed outright. So that's good. So we're almost 3 minutes away from the apoapsis. So I'll go ahead and time warp a wee bit. Okay, we must be out of the crater by now. Yeah, there's the crater. So now we must be in a different biome. UVA report. Midlands. Oh, but I already had that. Oh, I did do more flybys before. That's true. So I did do a flyby, and I think I did EVA from the Highlands, Midlands, and Lowlands. So just the crater was unique. All right, well, that's okay. And I mean, if you're really good, you launch in such a way that you can just escape the way you want in one go. What are the biggest changes 1.1? A lot of it is the background technology, the new physics engine, the new user interface system. There are some new parts. The new editor, the searchable editor, is kind of awesome. And there we go. We have circularized, and we still have a third of our fuel tank left, which should hopefully be enough. Okay, so to deorbit, we are currently basically the moon, right? We're orbiting around the moon, but effectively, relative to Kerbin, which is where we want to go, we are this moon's orbit. And so to come back to Kerbin, we want to burn retrograde compared to where we are. So the moon right now, because we're looking straight down, is going counterclockwise, which means from here, it is going towards the left. So the best way for us to slow down relative to Kerbin is to escape the moon going towards the right, because that will indicate that we have gone slow compared to the moon. So if we burn right around here, and we will burn prograde relative to the moon, will cause us to escape the moon's sphere of influence, effectively going retrograde to Kerbin. And something like that. Something relative like that. And if we look... So there's probably a sweet spot. This looks to be the most tangential-ish to where we're leaving. So I'm going to leave this way, and then once I'm out, then I'll do another retrograde burn. And I'm hoping to hell we've got enough fuel to do this all. So, mostly I'm just using the maneuver as a placeholder. So that I've got a timer. Because all we're going to do is we're going to get to around here, and we'll go ahead and burn retrograde. I think actually I might want to burn retrograde a little sooner. To do that even maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I think I do. I think I want to start the retrograde burn a little bit before there. And that's all that's going to be. It's a lot more efficient to just do one burn, yeah. But that's hard. But yeah, what Apollo did, for example... Well, no, Apollo did do a rendezvous, so that's a bit moot. But yeah, if you timed it right, where you're at the right place on the moon, and you just, like, take off in one go, it's just better. But this is pretty good. We'll get a little closer. Yeah, actually, I'm happy about this, because it's right before this notch. And I'm pretty pleased. Estimated to be a 7-second burn, so we're obviously not using that much. And I like this spot. So again, the maneuver was just a placeholder. I'm just going to burn prograde, not retrograde. Oof, that was almost a mistake there. And go. And we're just going to wait until, A, this pops, and then also sort of orient itself the way we want. Let's go and slow that down a bit. So a little bit more. We're just going to try to escape sort of roughly tangential. I'm going to say that's good enough. It would be better if I had this really good and could calculate maneuvers relative to Kerbin, actually. We could probably make this better. But to stop me from screwing up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape now in a mostly correct location. So more fuel efficiency would mean doing the burn 100% correct here. But if I start screwing it up, then it gets really bad. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to leave the moon. Goodbye, moon! Goodbye. And we're mostly close to our apoapsis, and we're still very, very high up. So, completed that time warp. I'm just going to go to times, say, 100, maybe times 1,000. We'll finish that. It'll automatically drop us to times 50, and I'll kill it completely. There we go. I'm going to call this close enough to our apoapsis for the next move. I could, although, you know what? I don't have life support or anything like that. I've got all the time in the world. What the hell? Let's go ahead. Let's take a couple more days in space. Let's give Journey some more time here. We're gonna loop all the way around. If I had life support mods, it might be different, but I don't. So we'll go ahead and wait. We're 12 minutes away from that. Warp a little closer. I don't want to overshoot it, but it's not gonna be a particularly long burn. 5 minutes away. Burn to right here. And then that'll be close enough for government work. We're so far away. We're gonna make sure to be burning retrograde to Kerbin now. We're burning prograde to the moon, but retrograde to Kerbin. And we're going to go to burn, and we're just going to watch the parry drop, 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 drop. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to do this a little bit more slowly. Slowly. I'm going to try to bring it to right around 30. There we go. That should be more than deep enough in the atmosphere to break us, but should still be involved having lots of atmosphere left to go sideways to stop. Oh, we got tons of delta V left too, which is great, Because when we get closer, we can do a little bit of maneuvers to kill more of our orbital velocity while keeping our parry about where it is. All right. So, yeah, nothing for us to do here. Let's go ahead and warp until we get closer to home. The moon. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, how did the moon get to the other side of Kerbin? I forgot we did a whole orbit over here. I'm like, how did it get so far ahead of us? This is my satellite from before for a mission. Just gave us some money. Shuka shuka shuka. All right, so here's what we'd like to do. It would be nice to use the rest of our fuel to kill off as much orbital velocity, or even, more accurately, surface velocity as possible. But if I were to just burn retrograde here, it would also drop my periapsis. And if it goes too low, I'll come in too steep. Very bad things will happen. We'll burn up and or smack into the ground. Either outcome would be particularly bad. So what I want to do is I want to burn retrograde to lower our orbital velocity, because why not? We've got the delta V. But at the same time, if I burn radial, what radial does is it sort of twists your orbit flat this way, right? Normal and anti-normal twists it this way. But radial and anti-normal twist it like this. So if I burn radial here, which is to say away from Kerbin, I will be effectively rising my periapsis because it's going to be twisting on the spot. So as a result, the parry is sort of going to twist away from the planet, raising it. But if I'm burning retrograde, it's going to lower parry. And the net result of that, the periapsis will stay exactly where it is while dropping the apoapsis, which is effectively burning off a bunch of our orbital velocity. So I'm actually going to get a little bit closer. I can't get confused with Angie's debris. Poor Angie, waiting for a rescue forever. We'll get you eventually there, Angie. Okay, I'm going to go into regular stability assist mode. And so this is our retrograde pointer. I want to find the point between retrograde and, oh, that is anti-radial. So right over here. So the more radial I burn, the more it's going to raise my parry. The more retro I burn, the more it's going to drop the parry. So if I find a spot somewhere in between, I'm going to go just a little bit of burn. We should be able to watch this, and you can see it's actually raising my periapsis, so I got to go more retrograde. More retrograde. And a little bit more. Right now it's going to be mostly retrograde, but that's going to change. Now it's dropping my periapsis. So I'm going to go to higher burn, and I'm just going to be... the position's going to switch a little bit. Whenever my parry starts to drop, I'll move a little bit closer to anti-radial. Whenever it starts to raise, I will go a little bit more towards retrograde. And the end result will be, we're going to try to target around 30 kilometers. Oh, I'm out of fuel. So we raised it a little bit, which was an accident, but we did kill off a lot of orbital speed, which is going to be nicer for reentry. There, done. Out of fuel. Sometimes you end up with a lot more. Not in this case. I believe I've taken all the experiments. Let's make sure, before I genocide this, we're going to make one more sure. Also, I'll check to see if any chance I got an EVA report over here. No, I've already done this. Let me detach. Do one last pass. One last pass. Did I get the goo? Yes. Did I get the Science Junior? Yes. Did I get the barometer? Oh, I have more barometer data. Ah! Thermometer? Nope, that's all good. Okay, I've got everything I should have. We're going to grab... Whoa, 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 whoa. Try that again. Come on, we're in crash course with Kerbin here. We can't waste all the time. There we go. Take and board. Okay. I'm going to unlock the staging. There we go. Unlock the staging. Bye! And that's going to burn up in the atmosphere at some point because it is on a crash course with the atmosphere. Oh yeah, running out of RCS fuel while you're floating around in space. That would be really bad. We got another milestone. Oh, spacewalk in orbit of the moon. Excellent. A little bonus cash. So what we're going to be doing now is we are going to be facing ourselves retrograde relative to the surface. Or we were going to try. Why is it? Oh, turn off the RCS. Why is it having such a hard time? Look at that. It's actually having a hard time locking retrograde properly. I haven't seen that before. But I wasn't going to lock to retrograde. The problem is if you lock yourself to hard retrograde, and the reason I want to do it is this, because when we re-enter, we want to keep our butt end facing into the wind. If you have a capsule shaped about like this, and you have your, your heat shield and everything like this, because of the shape, the atmospheric or the aerodynamic forces should keep you stable this way. As you end up with sort of longer capsules and maybe not an even center of mass, sometimes it can have a problem keeping your butt directly into the wind, which is what you want because you want the heat shield to be soaking up all the heat, right? So I really like to just manually ensure that I'm facing retrograde. It eliminates a lot of problems. Ideally, you would just lock your SAS to retrograde here. The problem is if you do that, it actually uses a lot of electric charge trying to stay facing retrograde like that. If you're landing on the sunny side, it's not too bad, but on the dark side, you will run out of electric charge, and then you'll just go into an uncontrollable tumble. Whereas just the stability assist mode is actually very electrically efficient. It does just require you that you sort of manually make adjustments from time to time. So we do have reaction wheels. We have a reaction wheel built onto the command pod. That's why we can do any rotation. So we're just fast forwarding. It automatically stops the time warp once we enter the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is going to be pretty thin until we hit about 50,000. Then we might start to see some atmospheric effects. Might be more around 40,000. We'll see. And where are we going to land? We might actually land. This is our current low point of the orbit. I suspect we'll land right in this bay over here. But it's hard to tell. So let's see what we can do. There you go. Oh, you get the heating effects a little sooner than expected. And I've been playing with a lot of mods in version 1.0 or 1.05, I suppose. So a lot of the effects and the atmospheric effects are quite a bit different from being back in vanilla. This is a whole new experience for me, playing without mods. There we go. And you can look at the ablator progress over here. So the ablator is going to burn itself off to soak heat, which is really good. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to burn itself off. And you don't want it to burn off too fast, but as it goes, it's good. So the rate at which it's ablating is going to go up as we hit thicker and thicker and thicker air. It's going to ablate itself faster until it hits a certain peak, at which point the rate at which the air is thickening is not going to be as extreme as how much our speed is dropping. Right now our speed's not dropping very much, but the air is getting thicker. So the rate of ablation is going to go up and up and up, but eventually we'll hit a nice balance. Nice wobbly camera, giving you the effects. You can see what it's like from inside here, the capsule. Oh, things are looking pretty creepy. But we can keep ourselves facing the right way if we need to. Lots of electric charge. I mean, we got our solar panels working, and we got the battery. We could do this. With this SAS mode, we could easily land on the dark side and not have to worry about running out of charge. That's fine. If we did go into retrograde lock, then it would be a little bit scary. But there we go. So we just make a little fine-tune every now and again. Try to keep our butt facing as well into the wind as possible. Make sure the ablator is doing what it is. Currently ablating at a rate of almost a half a point of ablation per second. So that's ticking down, but that's going to start to drop. And in fact, it is. Now, it went from 0.45 to 0.44, now 0.43. So the ablation rate is going down. We still have tons of ablation. Easy. I mean, the time when the ablator really becomes important is when you are coming into the Kerbin atmosphere, not even in orbit around Kerbin. It can happen when you're returning from another planet. So you'd be on an escape velocity from Kerbin. So you have to kill enough speed not to escape the Kerbin system entirely, and ideally land. And that can be the time when sometimes you do more than one pass through the atmosphere. That's a very common way to do it. But here we're groovy. Whoop, 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 whoop. Camera change, because what has just happened is our apoapsis is now inside the planet. So we're definitely going to hit, or rather, our new periapsis is inside the planet. So we're definitely going to hit ground somewhere. Camera change is always disoriented. You see the new atmospheric shader that they introduced in 1.1. Very nice. Honestly, for me, that probably means I don't need the scatterer mod anymore, right? And it's always nice. The more mods you can eliminate, the smoother everything will go going forward. So we have bled off a lot of speed. Speed is dropping quite quickly. Ablator is only losing about 0.2 units per second, so it takes 5 seconds to lose a point of ablation. We have lost a quarter of our ablator at this point, but we're fine. Nothing to worry about. Now we're just waiting for our speed to drop sufficiently so that we can safely deploy our parachute. And that'll be just right around 300 meters per second. I think as soon as you go subsonic, it becomes safe to deploy your parachute. But this will turn from red to yellow when it's risky, but maybe okay, to, I think it just turns gray when it's safe, and then I think it's green when you actually deploy the parachute, right? Are you sure you packed parachutes this time? Well, I got one, as long as it doesn't get burnt off. We're actually going to land on the darker side. Goodbye, sun. You did goodbye, moon. And we'll goodbye, sun. And I think I was right. Yeah, we're going to smack right into the bay. We'll probably smack right around here, actually. Because obviously we're still losing a lot of sideways motion, but everything is hunky-dory. Word ablation has no meaning anymore. You've reached syntactic satiation, I believe is the term. when word has been said so many times that you don't really hear it as the word anymore or whatever. It's just a sound. Sort of what like chanting mantras during meditation does. Dun, 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 dun. Buff, it used to be 250, but I'm pretty sure, and it's also 250 I think with some of the Ferrum Aerospace mods and whatever, but I'm pretty sure if you watch here, you will see the parachute turn gray at right around 330 meters per second. At this point, as soon as these Mach effects go away, and in fact with such a short ship, you're not really worried about atmospheric drag ripping it apart. We could turn off the SAS, but there's no reason to do it. So if you just watch, so we're at 500, 450, there it is. It's actually, even before 350, it decided that it was safe. So it might be slightly atmospheric changes, other sort of modifications, I don't know. But I'm not going to deploy the chute yet because we're still, I mean, this is sea level below us, and we've got 8 kilometers to go. So we've got lots of time to wait. So I just turned off the SAS, and aerodynamically, this should stay stable, facing mostly retrograde here, which is good. I'm just saving in case the staging for some reason stops responding. There's something must have done. I must have run out of power or some damn thing. I clearly did something that disabled my staging last time, but it wasn't locked. So I don't know why we weren't able to stage when we were landing on the moon. But it was definitely bad. Alright, I'll go ahead and pre-deploy now, and once we hit 1 kilometer, it'll fully deploy. But we are going to be completely fine here. Thump. There we go. Pretty brutal G-forces for a little bit there. But we're now slowing down to about 6 meters per second with 300 meters to go. I'm just going to go ahead and physics warp until we get down to the surface. I was on 2 times speed then? Was I? Did I accidentally physics warp? I must have. And I've seen that happen before, but... So, because when you're physics warping, you can still control your ship. But does it disable staging when you're physics warping? That might be the thing that had happened. That would certainly make a lot of sense. And there we go. We have landed. We're going to recover our vessel. We're going to get a bunch of science. And we already had a bunch of science from our last mission. We just earned 506. I had like 700 in the bank. Yeah, 700 in the bank. So we're now at 1262. We have over 1 million Kerbal bucks as well. And we did just complete another mission to return science data from space around the moon. Finish some more milestones from returning home from the surface of the moon and the orbit of the moon. Awesome.